This recipe is going to be influenced by what I found in the garden. It is early October. Things are dying down in the garden now, you know, it's almost time to pack things away. So what I have here is some pudina. Some of you call it big leaf thyme or Spanish thyme. I also believe it's called Mexican oregano as well too. So I have that. I have the bottom parts of what we call fever grass. Most people call it lemongrass. What else do we have? Some scallions. Yeah, it's quite a bit of dirt here, but some nice fresh scallions that I picked. Everything's gonna get a good wash, and then I'm gonna chop it up. But I also have, to complement that, I have chives, some beautiful chives. Of course, we've got that fresh thyme. Ooh, does it ever smell good, man? So we've got thyme, and we've also got parsley, and also we've got some pimento peppers, like this sort of area here. I'm going to chop it off, and of course I'm going to toss it out. The pimento peppers will have this sort of flavor and scent and everything else of Scotch bonnet peppers without that raw heat. We've talked about that several times. There's another one there. I'm not going to use all of them. I'm going to use a few of them for the kick, for the heat, for that little burst of extreme flavor. I have these little, and I don't even know, they remind me of white habaneros. And if you've ever had white habaneros, it's one of my favorite peppers to use, but I can't ever find a plant anymore. These are almost like chili peppers, so I'll probably use about 4 or 5 of these. And these are the leftover grape tomato that was left on the tree. I'm going to use these as well. What I also have parboiling or pre-boiling is some potato in salted water. This is the overhead of everything: tomato, thyme, parsley, pimento pepper, some spicy little chili pepper, the pudina. We've got the scallion, some of you call it green onion or green onion or spring onion. I've got the chives, and of course with the lemongrass, what I'm going to do is cut it into about 3-inch pieces, and then I'm going to hit it with the back of my knife just to bruise all of this, because this can be a bit woody, and I want to be able to identify it later to remove it if needs, because you're not trying to chew on this. What I may also add is a tiny bit, well, you'll see some ginger and garlic and stuff like that will go in there, but for now everything is influenced, the entire dish, by what I found in the garden. I've got the chives and the scallion chopped up in here, and it's just a rough chop I gave it. To that we're going to give it a bit of salt. Of course we need black pepper. And that fresh ground black pepper, yo, I just love using fresh ground. That's just the way I am, right? I'll have the recipe in a printable format up on CaribbeanPod.com, so don't worry about the amounts of anything or everything here. Of course, we need olive oil. Use your favorite oil, whatever oil you like using. I'm going to use quite a bit of oil in here. And olive oil, the price of olive oil these days is, yo, Mr. Olive Oil, yes? You better understand. We've got the pimento peppers, that pudina, or some of you call it Spanish thyme, or big leaf thyme, or Mexican oregano, I think, garlic, and again, everything is just, you know, kind of rustic. The thyme, I went for more of the baby sort of sprigs than anything else. Well, we've got one fella here that shouldn't be in there, and that one, yeah, that's a choking hazard. But anyway, oh, we got another guy in there sneaking too, boy. Everybody sneak up in here, boy. Some grated ginger. I've got the parsley, and the kitchen is just smelling just absolutely incredible. Some oyster sauce. Had I have any hoisin, I would put a little bit of hoisin in here as well too. Unfortunately, no hoisin in the cupboard. What I'm going to do is give that a good mix. The chicken, I have it here already, and we'll talk about that in a second. But what I'm going to do is, this is the lemongrass that I smashed with the back of my knife, the sort of rib of the knife, and I cut it up into small pieces. Got that love, and it's going to complement the ginger and the oyster sauce that we put in there. that's going to go on the bottom of the pan. I also have that pre-boiled potato. As I said, I have the tomato all chopped up here, and the reason why they're chopped up, and I'm not using all of them, the parts which were not all that great, I chopped it off and I tossed it out. A great way to make use of the odds and ends kind of thing. And of course we have the hot peppers. If you wanted to add some honey in here, you can do that, some brown sugar, totally up to you to bring that balance. What I may end up doing, and I'm confirming with you all, I will add the juice of 1 lemon in here as well. Got 5 chicken legs with the back attached. I trimmed off most of the skin on the underside, all the extra skin and all that, and I removed most of, if not all of the fat. If you wash your chicken, go ahead and wash it. I'm not here to pass judgment. Just know I'm from the Caribbean, so you know what that means. Anyhow, it's nice and dry. I packed it dry, and we have it in the roasting pan. My oven is preheating to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and I have the parboiled potatoes all ready, and these have been boiled in salted water for about 15 minutes. Just gonna scatter those. It doesn't matter where in the pan at this point. The tomato, lemongrass, got that lovely herbal mixture along with those wonderful seasoning peppers there, which we call pimento peppers, and I'm just gonna pour that all over the top here. Try to get all of it, and remember we added garlic and oyster sauce and ginger, grated ginger in there as well too. So all that niceness is in there. What we need to do at this point now, and I'm gonna do it off camera because I'm a one-man show at the moment, yeah? I have stuff like the Food Network and all that, so I gotta go in my hands and I'm gonna massage that all the way around. And I'm gonna tuck, and I think I mentioned it earlier, I'm gonna tuck the lemongrass more down on the bottom. I want that to flavor, because what's gonna happen, we're gonna lightly tint it with foil, put it in that 375 degree oven, and the steam and the moisture and everything is gonna start perfume, helping this lemongrass to do wonderful things. I also have the peppers, the hot peppers. I'm gonna add them whole, because of course my daughters and maybe Pally will eat some of this as well too. He may eat some of the chicken, and I don't want to break them, and that is the key, not to break them. But for me, when I'm eating, I'm gonna be jortsing on that. Jorts. When last year I heard somebody say jorts, you understand? Anyhow, I'm going in. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it in the background or not, so I do apologize. Well, Pally's listening to his Peppa Pig and George. Anyhow, we've got the peppers, and you can see I went in with my hands and I massaged it on both sides. And the reason why we use oil is because I want the oil on the bottom there to sort of help cook things, and it's going to help brown things. And we're going to halfway through, we're going to tip the pan, we're going to get some of that flavored oil, because at that point that garlic and thyme and everything else would have flavored that oil, and we're going to drizzle it back onto everything to help it caramelize and brown and give it a nice color and flavor. That said, we've got these little peppers. We're just going to tuck them down in between, and this is totally optional, you don't have to, but I just wanted to make use of everything that I have in the garden that's left back there. So again, I'm going to lightly tint this. You're not going to seal it or anything, just put some foil over it. Middle rack in the oven, 375 degrees. Now if you wanted at this point, I know we already added salt to there, if you wanted to add some salt directly onto the chicken, you can do that, but I'm cutting back on the amount of salt in my diet over the years, so you won't see me go too heavy with the salt, but I'm just letting you all know that is an option. And we pre-cook the potato because I want to make sure they're nice and soft and creamy on the inside once they're roasted off in the oven. It's been 4 or 5 minutes in the oven so far. I'm just gonna hit that. And what you can do now is tip the pan, get some of that flavored oil. Yeah, my temperature is coming back up to 400 degrees now. So that's the oven telling me, yo, partner, it's 400 degrees. But anyhow, 45 minutes later, now what we're gonna do is uncover it. And you can see it was just a lightly tinted kind of thing. There wasn't anything sealed up or anything like that, right? Raise your temperature to 400 degrees now, and we're going to continue cooking this. Like, you just want to start developing color and caramelization on the on the potato, on the chicken and potato and stuff like that. So again, we're almost there. We just want to give it another 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes or so, and then you'll be eating. And remember, if you wanted to put carrots in here, you can do that as well too. You don't need to pre-cook the carrots, it'll be fine in here. But yeah, back into the oven now at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Sup soldiers, listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pod. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? An hour and 15 minutes later, and this is what we have. Roasted chicken with potatoes and tomato, and if you notice, we've got that little flavored oil on the bottom there. The tomato will start to break down, the herbs start to break down. And what I didn't put in here is any onions. If you want to put some diced onion in here, some big pieces of onion, some shallot, all those things will work nicely in there. What I will recommend is, and I mentioned it to you all earlier, is tip the pan and baste. Yeah, baste it a few times, especially when it's uncovered, because we don't want it to dry out too much. Yeah, and the more you baste it, the more flavor you're adding to things. And remember, we've also got that lemongrass and ginger and all those herbs and everything else in there. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. A lovely weeknight dinner. It is fall, the nights are cold, you know, you got some bread or whatever, and you're tucking with this, you know, a couple pieces of potato, a piece of chicken, and everybody happy. I do hope you get an opportunity to give it a try. Irie?